down.
Yeah, I got it.
I sent out on the Twitter right before you came and got me that tonight was going to be a do-over meeting, basically, and same agenda, and then I'd report on it. I got about 24 replies back, favorites and all that, saying they were watching
Mayor
for
Ray
it.
Wakeman,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pam Drost here, council members Phil Rutledge,
Here.
Donald Weaver,
Here.
Adam Gonzalez,
Here.
and Ruthie Seward.
Here you go. Okay. We have a quorum. I'd like to have somebody make a motion to accept the consent items 3 and 4.
I'll make a motion that we make these consent items, the minutes and the check register.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're going to jump down to item 6 momentarily. And that's consider an act upon signing plats for Pine Street. Would you like to give us a brief explanation to the council as to what you're doing?
Yes, that's actually a lot over in Pine Street. It was 3 lots in the beginning, and we combined them and made 2 lots out of it. And then we went back and replatted, and I bought 30 foot from the guy that we split off from, which gave me 160 feet. And now what I'm wanting to do is make 2 lots out of that, which makes you about 2 lots that are basically 80 feet wide, frontage on the lake and the roadside. And I've been with Monty and Ken also, and we're trying to get this worked out. And they said we had it replatted by the surveyor, and just trying to get it signed off on.
Do I have a motion from council members to sign off on the Pine Street plat?
I'll make a motion that we sign off on this plat.
Do I have a second?
I'll do a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll sign off on it for you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, you have an open forum. Have anyone in the audience who'd like to say anything? Yes, ma'am?
Hello, I'm Edie Walker, and I guess it got correct this time since I didn't know how it worked last time. But with Angela's great advice, she told me to, when you said open forum, to raise my hand. I'm Edie Walker. I'm running for Justice of the Peace in your precinct. I've been at the Justice of the Peace office for 12 years. I worked for Judge Sue Tarrant for 8 years, and I work for Kelly Harris now. So that's the next natural step for me to try and step in and take over the JP office. But I've always helped out your officers and Shalina and Angela when they needed anything. So if you need anything, just call us, and I'll be more than happy to help you, and I'd appreciate your vote. Early voting started today, goes through the 28th, and then March 4th is your primary. So if nothing else, be sure and go vote. Thank you.
All right.
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I awakened this morning and I had a telephone call telling me that my Lauren's son was in jail in Old Mexico, and that they wanted nearly $1,500 after being out and going for all around and all over the place and following it through from every lead. Lauren's son is in Philadelphia. He is not in Old Mexico, and somebody's just wanting the money. And we need to thank the man up at Brookshire's, because he told us, he says, I will not sell you a ticket or a money order to send over there, because it's just wasted money, and I won't do that to one of my customers. And of course, when I checked in with the sheriff's department, they told me the same thing. So I want everybody to know there is a scam going around right down here in Coffee City. But they don't know exactly where it's coming from. But they ask for money, and they use somebody that you love to extract the money from you. So that I'm not the only person.
Okay. We have another scam going on too in this area. You'll have somebody show up at your door, knock on your door, and they'll tell you that they just done a driveway job in your area, and they have some materials left over, and that they'll do your drive for a little or nothing, don't believe them. They won't tell you how much it is up front, and when they get done, they'll give you an exorbitant bill. Don't pay it. Just call the cops. Call Donnie Malone, he'll go check them out. If you can get any information from any of these people, if they show up at your house, please give it to myself or give it to Donnie Malone, because we're trying to get them run out of this area. They took one of my neighbors for $12,800. Okay.
I'm Ken Giesland. I don't know if any of you don't know me. I'm your county commissioner, and I'm running for re-election. And as Edie said, early voting started today, and if you can't work it in through the 28th, the 4th will still work. And I genuinely appreciate your consideration and maybe your vote. Thank you.
Let me finish signing these things
That was just in case.
Did y'all see the sales tax income for this month? It's on in the paperwork. We just posted it Monday, I guess. It was just 21,000. So it seems we got like 13,000 out of that, so. That's good. Yeah, we need that income.
We had a good month. Right now, we're standing a little good, so, but we're still gonna have to watch how we spend, just keep our heads above water.
Oh, yeah.
One other thing on the open forum. Next Saturday, the 22nd, there's a chili dinner at the Berryville Community Center, and it's going to be for the Berryville and Coffee City Fire Departments. So we'd like to have everybody participate, because the fire departments need all the help they can get, and this is an easy way to do it.
What time?
It's at 6, it's from 6 to 8. It's at the Berryville Community Center. So take somebody out to dinner.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sir, I heard a rumor that y'all had entertained the idea of a city sewer here. Is there any reality to that? Okay.
They came up a long time ago, and it got shot down.
Since it isn't on the agenda, I did want to give you an update on the road request. You probably have noticed we haven't done any road work. The reason for that, I'm sure Chief Malone is aware, and probably all of you are aware, is there was an escaped trustee 2 weeks ago on Sunday, and the sheriff is reevaluating all trustees to ensure that they're still trustworthy. And at this point, last Friday, we received one. The one wasn't even available today. So we're using all county employees to patch at this point. And we didn't want to subject you to that additional cost. So that is the reason for the slow roll of any patching activity until we the sheriff reevaluates everyone and we start getting our normal 2 trustees per day.
Understand. Okay, anyone else on the open forum? Okay, move over to item number 7. Consider an act upon a resolution for de-annexation of County Road 4202. Do you have that?
I do.
Okay.
Want me to talk about it?
Yes, please.
Okay. What we're looking at is a map of County Road 4202 coming from off of 3506, following it all the way down until it turns into, what's the name of the road? So it becomes South Cape Drive when it turns into Cape Tranquility. So all that section of the road. And if you look at your maps, it's not marked, but 3506 and it'll be down to right here.
Do they have copies of the maps? We can get that.
You should have a copy of this on your agenda. And this is to, pardon. And this is mainly at the request of a lot of the citizens of 4202, and I think it's just better for everyone around for the county to take over fixing their roads rather than the expense going to.
Have anyone in the audience that would like to address that issue? The annexation of 4202? Yes, sir.
My name's Gerald Jacob. I live at Brown's Landing, just off 4202, and of course our interest over there is road maintenance. We understand the situation in Coffee City that funds and availability and priorities, and we know that's probably not very high on the list. So it's a complicated situation that the commissioner here has explained to us and the mayor has explained to us before about how you get that maintained. So our interest is to simplify that and at least deal with one entity when we're talking about the roads. So anything we can do to support that, we will at Brown's Landing.
We've had nobody in opposition to it so far. So. We've had discussion, or Pam's had discussion with several different officers about how to do it, and this was the simplest way to do it, and all it takes is city council action.
Yeah, and Mr. Giesland was very helpful with me doing this as well, and we're doing this as a, it's Texas Local Government Code 43.144, which is for sparsely populated areas within the city limits. And so we're able to do a disannexation by that local government code. And I would like to make a motion that we accept this ordinance and disannex County Road 4202.
I will second that.
You have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. County Road 4202 has been de-annexed.
We'll talk to the commissioner next.
I'm sorry?
We'll talk to the commissioner next. And
To
get in line there.
to preclude that discussion, so the council knows the document you're about to sign, I will need 2 copies of that at minimum, and then I will prepare an agenda item. It will go on the commissioner's court, and then with court action, we'll accept 4202 back into the county maintenance system. And then we will be cooking. Okay?
Hot asphalt.
Mr. Giesland, I have a question. Do we need to send this map to the mapping department, or do you do that from your
I'll
point?
take care of that for you.
You do that, okay. All right, thank you.
Once the court action has taken place, I will forward that with the signed documents to the appraisal district, and then they will be changing that.
Appreciate that. Okay, next item, consider and act upon annexation of FM 3506. Before I ask for a proposal on that, I would like to change the proposal that I'm going to ask for. I would like to have a motion from somebody to abandon that project for now.
I would make that motion.
And I would second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to skip that for now. Okay. Consider and act upon asking city attorney to write statement for November ballot to increase our sales tax from 1% to 1.5%. And we can't use it for city operating funds. We can use it for roads, but I'm not sure we'll be able to get the full 0.5%. I think we're going to be stuck with 0.25%. But I'm going to ask the attorney if there's another section that he can get another 0.25% added to that, so we'll have something to work with. That'll help us on our operating budget if we can collect separate taxes for road repair. So I have a motion.
I would make a motion that we table it till we get all the data that's pertinent.
Okay.
So what we're saying is in order to put this on the ballot for the next election, that we basically have to dedicate the funds for a specific purpose, and then we have to make sure that it's legally dedicated to that purpose.
For the roads or.
For the
yeah,
roads
just
and
like the
whatever else that you
EDCs.
come up to.
That's correct.
I think Phil's very wise, that we need to come up with our wording correctly.
I don't know what the timetable is for, I guess we should have some discussion. What's the timetable for getting it on the
I
election?
don't know how much time we have to get it on the ballot.
I
You
can
have any
ask
idea?
I don't know, I
Denise.
can try to find out tomorrow if you want me to.
Okay. I wouldn't think we should need to wait very long because we're just.
Well, I know that, but I mean, are we going, what are we voting on, a 0.5% or a 1/4% or?
I would vote for the to ask him for the 0.5% and let him determine if it can be a 1/4% for the roads and a 1/4% for something else. I looked at, there's several different things that they list in there, but don't all of them fit. You know, we may only wind up with a 1/4%.
Personally, I just have an issue voting for a tax increase when I don't know where it's going for sure.
Okay.
I mean, that's me. So, I mean, I'm with you. If we could get it just for full sales tax for the city's benefit for the future, because we all know what's going to happen with the liquor stores in a couple of years.
We can't get it
But
for
you
the city.
can't.
I know you can't get, that 1%'s the max the city
Yes.
can raise for true sales tax.
So if we increase the tax, it's gotta be for a dedicated.
Well, and I'm
reason.
easy with roads, because we all know every road in this town could use some work.
Yeah.
That I would go for.
Well,
But
if we ask for a 1/4% for roads, because that's what we're allowed, when I looked at the way it's written and what we're allowed to do. A 1/4% for roads, and it has to be done again in 4 years.
But just looking at the EDC, they're getting a 0.5%. Okay, they would have got about, for 1/4%, we would get about 36,000 a year, because they're getting about $6,000 a month. So that would go a long way for,
For roads.
For roads.
it doesn't go a long way, but
But it'll help.
if we could talk to him about lowering his rates,
Question, Mayor, on
thank you for what you do there.
how would this affect logistically on the ones that impose the tax and on the public at large?
It's just a sales tax.
It's everybody that buys anything.
Anybody that buys.
If they drive through town, they stop.
Anything that's sales taxable in the city, they'd add 1/4 of 1%.
How much are we looking at this generating within
Well,
a?
roughly
Quarter,
36.
see, this is a 0.5% that the EDC gets, so a quarter, you get half of that. So it's about $3,000 a month, probably somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 a
I
year.
think we should table that, anything with the tax.
I just have,
Until we get more data.
Is the 1/4% the maximum you can do for roads?
That's according
Okay.
to the stuff that I read.
then I would, I mean, if, I would go along with the 1/4% for roads as far as a motion. But I don't wanna go along with the 0.5%
Well, we can
without
ask,
knowing what the other parties
we
are.
can ask for the 1/4% for roads.
And just leave it at that,
Just
or
leave it
go
at
a
just-
How do you feel about
1/4% on the
that?
ballot rather than a 0.5% on the ballot?
But I'm not for taxing for anything, but,
Yeah. But we need to look at every source we can without actually doing a property tax.
well, no, don't even mention those words.
Yeah, I know. I'm not for it.
NPT.
No. Todd, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is that the roads are really something, and the money's gonna be needed, and a 1/4% is probably gonna be acceptable. And the thing about this, Adam, is we're not gonna make a decision on any of this. This is gonna be put to the voters.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. We don't.
No matter what we say, don't man squat. It's gonna go in front of the voters, and the voters are gonna have to vote up, and they're gonna vote down. So even, no matter how any of us feel at the table, we do not have the final say. We're actually just voting to put this on the ballot.
I'll go with what Phil said about tabling to get more data. If not, I'll just.
Well, my concern right
if not,
now
I'll just
is
abstain
that-
from any vote and vote no.
I'm
I mean,
not
that's
gonna,
just-
I'm not
that's
gonna
just-
pressure, but that's
I
what it
understand.
is.
My
It's just
concern is
You're a
if
good guy,
it's,
I
That's
have
where
no
I'm at.
problems with it.
I would really like to have more information, but I'm really concerned that
Well,
we get.
There's a time schedule on this, you
Well, that's
mentioned
it.
we had a different time schedule, usually this is a November election that we're talking about? Is it August the deadline to?
I don't know. what
I
the
bet you it
deadline
would be
is.
July or
Yeah,
August.
Be July?
Yeah.
So we've got another
Probably
month.
July, I bet you, but.
Well, we can beat this more next month if it's not life or
Well,
death.
surely
right
we'll
now.
have some information from the attorney by then,
Well, what
Well,
is
I'm
it
just
that we're
asking- I'm
asking
just
here for the
asking.
attorney? Are we,
what the other 1/4% could be used for.
what it could be?
Well, I'm
used
just
for.
asking for him to write the wording to be placed on the ballot to request it. And it's gonna have to be, it can't be 0.5% for roads. It's gonna have to be 1/4% for roads. And unless, and I'm not gonna ask for anything else, I'm just simply gonna ask for the 1/4% for roads and leave it at that.
I would make a motion that we approve a 1/4% for roads. Sales tax to be put on the next general election.
And let these citizens.
Let the citizens make their decision.
Have a second to that?
Let me read this one more time. Well, to me, we're asking for, we're gonna get him to write a statement. I think once we get that statement in hand, I'd like, then we could vote on
We
it.
can approve it.
So I'm happy for him to write a statement,
Okay.
and,
So basically, we're voting on a statement, we're not voting to actually
We're
put it on the
voting,
ballot, so.
we'll table it and ask for the statement.
He's on retainer for that network anyway, so it's nothing.
He's not on.
No, it's not on.
No,
So we have to
Like-
pay him
Hourly.
for
We'll
that.
have to pay, but that won't be
I
long.
wanna see what his statement is before I wanna
Mr.
put it
Giesling
on the
has a
ballot.
comment.
Not a lot.
I'm out of order here, but if you're just going to the attorney and ask for language, rather than just say roads, which is pretty generic, I mean, there's the roads as well as the right-of-way, ditching, culverts, right-of-way
infrastructure.
maintenance. It's basically the road and right-of-way infrastructure that the 1/4% that you're discussing would be utilized for, not just
Well, see,
paving.
when I talk to him, I can ask him for that.
So that's gotta be part of the wording, yeah.
That's, I think,
Yeah, it
what
needs
Mr.
to, it needs to be pretty broad as far as what additional $6,000 on our franchise fees from Trinity Valley from last year, and we didn't budget that.
I know,
So,
yeah, but you're $10,000 or $7,000 down on your sales tax income too.
yeah,
So one does offset the other.
yeah.
And that 22,000 we got from the TVC is, that's gonna be spread over the next months as part of the budget. So it's not it looks like one big impact, but we don't have any more of that coming, so.
Not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
I don't have a problem with changing line items. If you're over here and want to spend it over here, that's fine, but I really don't want to add to our budget. I don't want to add anything
Well, I
else.
mean, if we already know, for example, the mayor has police equipment gear on here, to change that to what, 5,000?
Yes.
We're already at 3,100 of that, so it's not a true additional 5,000, or you're not asking for another 5,000, are you?
No,
Okay.
just enough to cover us through the end of the year.
And
And
then-
that should be more than enough.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna buy anything that we don't absolutely need.
Well, then can I jump a second? You have on the agenda on item 17 to spend $700 on 2 radar equipment.
Yes,
Type 18.
yep,
Is that?
yeah, 2 stalker units.
There's a
Okay.
different agenda.
Oh, is it different? Oh, there's-
See, well, they're on that agenda, I mean, that would come through police equipment and gear.
Yep.
You're already, at 3,100, 5,000, you're already almost there.
That could also be considered as part of that $6,000 we have left over from the Camaro.
Is that gonna be an upgrade, Mayor, to their equipment?
Yes.
These two?
Yes.
Is that $700 a piece, or is that
No,
just
that's
the
total.
two?
That's
Okay.
total.
So we're working on that, we're gonna
Okay,
address
I
that
think-
before we do address the
I
budget
think,
changes.
this, so,
Well, I've kind of looked at the projected budget for the next 5 months. Has anybody kind of looked to see, we're kind of comparing to where we're over and under right now. But if you go all the way to the end of the fiscal year, and take into consideration, we've got an audit bill coming and all
Right.
these other things. We're kind of at a break-even point.
It's in the budget, the audit's there, but the cash flow is what's,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying where we're comparing over and under and seeing where we are, we need to consider the next 5 months to see if we're still gonna be over and under those same categories.
right. Well, and part of that, if you look at the bottom of that spreadsheet, you see we're actually ahead through January of 2014, right at $10,000 on our budget, ahead.
Ahead.
Okay, but 22, you got $22,000 in one lick from that TBEC,
Yeah.
which 10,000 of that needs to be moved over to the upcoming months. So your basically budget is
Breaking even. We're
Breaking
pretty
even.
Even, yeah.
overall, when you take what's you're above on and below on.
Well,
So,
I projected for 5 months, the next 5 months, February through the end of June, if it goes according to figures I've plugged in and what we have budgeted, of course, we'll have about $1,500 left over at the end of the budget.
okay. You've asked for $2,000 for auto expense. What is that for? Added to expenses on your list.
Auto. We're over budget on that. That's why it was, that's why we were
Okay, that's, so you're trying to,
trying to cover budget.
well, yeah, that's, and we know what the police equipment gear was. We didn't budget enough for that to start with. There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, we were hit hard on our police equipment
Yeah.
because of the condition everything was in when we took over. So we didn't know how much to budget for certain things, but we're getting caught up now. Things are, the equipment is all in good shape, and I don't foresee any major expenses coming up for equipment.
Okay, well, some of these things are loud. What's the electricity for the community center?
We took $1,000 off of the budget there to put
Way
it,
down.
Oh, okay,
to put it
okay.
into these others
So that's
that
where
we're
you're saying
adding.
we're down, that would be one there, okay.
We're down on the
Uh,
community center, we're down on, actually on our road repairs.
So the only two you're really looking at is increasing, is the auto by 2,000, police equipment gear by 2,600, and salaries by 1,800.
He wants to add the 1,800 to salaries. The
Yeah, well, no, it
salaries are
won't,
where
it won't
they're
be added
supposed
in
to
the
be.
budget, it'll be footnoted at the bottom, so we can trace back where the number, when we show at the end of the year that we were over here, we'll have a notice going back, telling us why we spent more than what we budgeted. So for budgeting purposes next year, we'll have all the documentation.
Well, I'm personally not for spending more than we budgeted. I mean, if we can help
In
it.
most cases, we already have.
Yeah, and according to the way we're supposed to operate, if we've already spent what we had budgeted, we can't spend any more for that.
So I think, from my
Well-
standpoint, we vote on these individually,
I guess my point is, I
each
feel
item
like
individually.
I have already voted on the budget and I'm happy with us spending, 224,996 in expenses. I'm happy with approving that. We've already approved that, that's our budget. So, I mean, I don't care if we move it from one point to another point, that doesn't make any difference. The total expenses is gonna be the same. But if we add to it, which this is calling for, we're adding more money to the bottom line. Where are you gonna get that 1425 from? See this sheet that he's looking at, the proposed changes?
Well, the reality is, he's proposing we increase it $6,400. It's all added, you don't.
No, he's adding $6,400 to
But he's-
the expenses,
okay.
and he's
Yeah, yeah,
deducting
yeah.
$4,975.
But you're saying then go back and change the budget.
No. I'm saying, let's not approve all these I'm happy with the changes, but I'm
Well,
not
okay,
happy with adding
okay. Then we
1425.
will also footnote all of these here, that they have to be, the budget has to be reduced by that much by year end. In other words, the election, we already know the election expense is $1,500.
Right,
It's not gonna go up anymore.
right.
Okay.
That's a given.
That's a given. So,
And I feel like all of those are correct, you know. They're
Well,
all
and I-
correct, but something's gotta change that we need to not have a net of 1425. So we need to either take 1425 from auto, police equipment and gear, or salaries, because that's where we're adding.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very hard to take off of some of the other items that were slightly under on the budget.
Okay.
We can make that adjustment, we can come back next month at the next meeting.
If you want to do that, we'll have to, I mean, I can update this spreadsheet too through the end of February for next month, so we'll have the good income we had this month. It may give us a little better insight. I mean, that's not hard to do. I can do that in a couple of hours, so.
That's fine, and then if you would take it a step further and project it to the end of the year.
I can do that, yeah, that's no problem.
Because that's,
The,
you can't make the decision not knowing what the rest of
but
those numbers are gonna be.
do you understand what I'm saying? From the standpoint of what you're reducing, we could show where we've got some reductions coming.
Okay.
But,
If you show me some more reductions to come up with that 1425, I'll agree with
okay,
it.
that, I just, I mean, Ray and I had the discussion once before, you know, at the budget you set, you live to the budget,
Yep.
Right,
okay?
I
You
agree.
footnote what you adjust so you know going forward.
I agree.
But, I mean, we've already made 2 changes, added the audit, which we should have done to start with, so I didn't argue with that.
I agree.
And we voted on the animal control in April to raise the dollars, and then we missed that when we did the original budget, so I didn't, and that is footnoted if you look down in the bottom.
Right, I agree
Uh,
with that.
So, but to change the budget, time you get to the end of the year, you're like, what do we do and what do we do
Yeah.
now and where did
And
we
I'm
miss it?
not, that's,
Yeah, we're
I'm not
just-
proposing changing the
No, we're
budget.
just trying to change the spending categories a little bit.
So are we tabling this for right
We
now?
can table this until next meeting. I have a motion to table.
I'll second it.
Motion to table this to next meeting.
All in favor?
Who seconded that?
It was me.
Uh,
Okay.
Now, the next question.
The next item.
Yeah. $300 a month salary. You just tabled it.
Yes, we did. So we're gonna table the other one too.
That's your call.
All right, item 12. Consider an act upon promoting Sergeant Gregory Sinkfield to lieutenant, hiring part-time for $300 a month. Any comments, statements, questions?
Well, I've nothing but kind things to say, you know, about the police department. And I was at the Dollar General today, and they were saying what a great job the police department is doing, and they complimented somebody with salt and pepper hair and mustache. And what a great job he's doing about hanging around for the changes of the money, and you know, so I've heard nothing but good things. And with all the new reserves coming in, they're going to be sworn in recently, you know, things are just really great. But, you know, here again, if we're gonna go to the voters and we're asking for money, and here we've had this long discussion about funds, I think I'm real proud of what we've accomplished so far, as we've been able to maintain, but I don't think now is the right time to be adding to a salary. Maybe in the future would be a fine thing, but like I said, I have nothing but happy things to say, but at the same time, we've received praise because of our fiscal responsibility. We've just had a long discussion. We had a long discussion about taxes. Now is not the time to be chunking in a new employee on salary.
I support this action too, but because we tabled the budget, I mean, they're pretty much tied, intertwined, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much,
You
our
want to
hands
look
are
at
tied
it, you
up.
want to look at it again next month, or look at the changes in spending?
Are we in a position right now to go ahead and,
Well, let me ask you something. Do you think $300 a month is gonna satisfy Officer Sinkfield? You do? I think that is a silly and an embarrassing amount. I mean, to me, I feel like we're giving him gas money. And we're kind of circumventing that issue by promoting him and distinguishing him from the other reserves. So they're not asking for gas money, and I don't know that $300 is gonna keep him happy for very long. I don't know.
Well, the other side of it, you have
I'm
to-
on and off the fence on this one because I want to keep him. I think he's a great reserve. He works his rear end off.
He writes over half the citations.
He's out there, you see him out and about all the time. He's great. And I think our police department is great. I think we have a one-man police department that runs it 24/7 and has gotten some great reserves to back him up
And you
there.
can see the additional income that's coming in from those efforts too.
Yeah, so I mean, I think our city, all we really provide for our citizens is a police department and our roads. And we help out our fire department, but the city helps support the fire department to a degree, but, and I want a strong police department, but,
They seem to be
I
taking
also
us,
want it within
we're
the
taking a
constraints
stand,
of
we're
our
taking two
budget.
stands, we're taking a stand, we've taken tough stands here on the fiscal responsibility on all these particular items. And there's nothing that costs more than adding somebody to the payroll, and especially if you're adding somebody at substandard wages. And if anybody, nobody at this table is gonna say, no, this is not substandard wages.
Basically, everything gets some money.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but that's adding to it, we're already, the spectacular performance that he's been doing already, we're getting for nothing. And we're bidding on more reserves that are basically gonna be doing the same thing. And they came here of their own free will because this is a great city to be trained in your, on the police efforts. Because if you ask where they're all from, they're from 2 or 3 hours away, but why did they come here? Because this is a great place to receive training. They have come willingly because they want to be in Coffee City to receive their training. And we've got,
They like the treatment that they
they-
get.
I think part of the issue here, from my standpoint, is this is the second time we've had this in consideration, and I don't think it's fair to the officer
To keep lingering.
that we keep lingering. And from what I'm hearing, yeah, I don't think, as much as I would love to do it, I don't think long-term it's good for the city. I think it's setting a precedent that we'll be living with.
I think
for a
it's
long
setting
time.
a precedent as well. I wish there was something else, and we need to put our heads together and figure out another way to do something. We probably could work on, is there grant money out there to help subsidize a person's police department, a city's police department? Maybe we need to come up with
Takes
some.
forever.
Well, I know, but I don't like to spend money that we don't have. We don't have it. I don't see where we have it. Now, if you can show me that we will have it, then that's different, but I don't, right now, I don't see it.
Do I have a motion from somebody?
Can I say something?
Yes.
You know, I think it's only fair, and I think I need to speak for myself a little bit, and this is no way, chief, this is not, it don't reflect him, but I think it would be only fair. I come down out the love that I have for Coffee City, but it costs me $40 every time I come in, every time I come down here, and I come down here, this man right here works himself to death. He's up in the middle of the night and driving, and it's no guarantee that this young man here just graduated from the academy, he could leave tomorrow because of Tyler or somebody pick him up because of his age. And it's not guaranteed that the rest of the officers are going to uphold the standard in the job that I've done. And I just think it's only fair. I think $300 is nothing. $300 is nothing. I mean, it's.
But we're not running a business. This is not a business. This is a city, and we have citizens. And dragging in revenue is not something that we can legally peg to dragging in revenue. We have budgets that we have to live in, and if you were operating a business, you'd go, you betcha this guy's bringing us in money.
But you're getting a quality officer.
Well, I'm not debating that. Okay, but it's,
somebody
we have budgets, and we're responsible to our citizens for the money. If you go to work for a company, and back when I was in business, the secret to going to work for somebody is you go to work for somebody who's got money, and then you're gonna get paid money. If you work for a company that's very poor, you're in trouble, because they ain't got any money to pay you. And I don't know how, and I'm new to this government thing, and I don't know how government relates to business, but they're a whole separate world. This is not a business. This is a city. You're a fine, fine officer, and all of them are. But this is not a business. We have fiscal responsibility to our citizens. We offer police protection. We said that we were gonna be within this budget. That's what it all comes down to. It all comes down to money. And, you know, if you're looking for, and this is real good advice, if you're looking for a career advancement, you go where the money is. And that's every person that could ever tell you that will tell you that. Well, why am I here? Well, they're making money. And this place has got money to go. And, well, tell me about Coffee City. You already know about Coffee City.
But at the same time, you rather risk that and burn this man here out, burn him out, working him 24 hours basically a day, and you, I mean.
I didn't say anything was fair. I didn't say anything was fair.
Yeah, it's not fair.
It's not fair, and it's not fair at all. It's not fair to you, it's not fair to Malone, it's not fair to any of the reserves. There's nothing fair about it at all. But there's nothing fair about, we didn't, the people in Tyler elected to go wet. Well, we can go protest in Tyler and tell them, well, you shouldn't have gone wet because we needed those money. There's nothing fair about anything. The only thing is we were elected to do this particular job, and we're trying to do it at our best, and it's the same thing with the police department. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. Everybody in this room has worked various positions in various companies, and I bet you everybody could say, it certainly wasn't fair. It wasn't. But we're not a business. We're a city. And we're a city with specific funds that we get in by taxes, and we have to live within the budget we have to provide the citizens the most we can within the budget that we have. Otherwise, we're not treating, but this is not about being fair, and this is not a business.
I have to say, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said there. I'm on page with that. I am sorry that we don't have the money to have additional.
If this was a business, that if we were hiring quality employees, it's like, by God, you'd be the man I'd want. I'd hire you now, and you'd be on, and you would get paid handsomely. And I would pay, because if this was a business, this is how it'd be run.
But why, but why build my hopes up and tell me this month after month again, and.
That's a political process, and it's a city.
I mean, just be truthful.
Well,
I'm trying my best to be truthful.
I mean, don't.
That's the 6 months.
Officer Seafield, I would like to tell you that I have put my heart and soul into trying to find money. And I've been on this fence and on either side of it, and I have been back and forth, and then I come all the way back to the books. I look at the books and try to figure out where the money's gonna come from to pay for you. Even budgeting in the higher increase of court income, even trying to figure all that out, I can't see where we can do it. Yes, it's only $1,800 more this fiscal year. We don't have $1,800 more this fiscal year. We're not gonna have an $1,800 surplus when we're done.
No way.
That's just where I'm coming from. I wanted you. I mean, I want you. I'd hire you full-time and whatever, but the money's not there. And that's what I've got to go by. That's my reasoning.
You gonna make a motion about it?
Well, I make a motion that it's not to be tabled. I think we just I make a motion, no, just because we don't have the money.
Second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? 3-1.
Can we have any more discussion? I would just like to ask Adam, do you feel like there's a way to hire him? I mean, I
Well,
didn't hear
since
you
we're gonna
say
table
anything.
the budget and see if Phil can maybe do something, I was hoping to maybe intertwine them, see if we could merge them together, something.
I don't have an issue with readdressing this next month at all.
I thought I was bringing up
everything as far as state goes. Which means for the city is every citation that a 18-wheeler gets, we get 50% of. 50% goes to the state, 50% goes to the city. So we'll be doing that also as soon as the scales come in. We're waiting on the scales from DPS now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wayne Frazier.
Pleasure to meet you.
Gentlemen, you want to come up right here? I'll have you face me. Raise your right hand. I'm going to say I, and I want you to each say your name. I.
Wayne Frazier.
And then you can say it together. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of Reserve Peace Officer
of Reserve Peace Officer
of the City of Coffee City,
of the City of Coffee City,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect,
preserve, protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and the Charter
and the Charter
and ordinances of this city,
and ordinances of this city,
and I furthermore
and I furthermore
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered or promised to pay,
offered or promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
nor promised to contribute
nor promised to contribute
any money
any money
or valuable thing,
or valuable thing,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
for employment
as a reward
as a reward
to secure my appointment.
to secure my appointment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
We got new scales. Police department. Okay, I can get rid of that question then.
Things that's about what it's like on bodies.
Do we need to be concerned about liability on the motorcycle?
He has his own, secures his own insurance. We'll probably have to put on the agenda to let him, but it isn't fully equipped for his motorcycle. He carries his own insurance.
No.
Okay. Item 14, consider an act upon violation ordinance concerning Allied Waste. Under our franchise agreement with Allied Waste, there is spelled out violations in there, but we cannot legally enforce that without an ordinance, and it's just a simple ordinance stating that any violation of the franchise agreement with Allied System will be punishable by a fine of not less than $50 or more than $500, exclusive of court costs for each violation. And this ordinance applies only to any company illegally picking up trash within the city limits of Coffee City. The residents will not be charged with any violations under that agreement. So do I have a motion that we accept this ordinance?
I would make a motion that we accept the Allied Waste ordinance, violation and structure.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 15. We got a bill from Nelson Propane. We've had apparently a lot of propane usage this year because of the weather, and we got behind paying them. We were only been paying $140 a month. And we have to catch up. It's costing us $846 to catch up. And we're probably gonna have to adjust our monthly payout so that we don't get behind anymore. But anyway, I talked to DC Inline, the guy that delivers propane, and he said Coffee City has used a lot of propane this year. And we-
Propane cost is going extremely high too.
Yeah, I know. So I just need a approval.
Motion to pay that?
Yeah, I've already paid it. I just need to.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve payment of $846.40.
Additional?
In addition to our $140 a month.
That's to catch us up. Now, when we budget for next year, we're gonna have to look at our propane.
I'll second that motion since it's bills we've already incurred.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
So does that just catch us up?
That catches us up.
Okay, so Going forward, we shouldn't have that much more propane. It's still February, Lord, what am I talking about, because it's been pretty.
Yeah, we shouldn't have as much as we've had in the past, but we had some pretty cool weather for quite a while. Item 16, consider and act upon webmaster proposal. Did you want to give us some insight on what you're doing with the website?
I've been looking over at the Weebly site where the current Coffee City site is located. And no matter how good the webmaster was or not good, this last one you had, he could never have built you the site you wanted on Weebly. Weebly is a 10-year-old model that is so out of date, it's unbelievable how bad it is. They do not give you access to any server capabilities at all. It's like buying a computer. You bought 51 programs, but all you're allowed to use is Paint. That's it. You're gonna have to change servers. And another thing was Weebly was $71 for 2 years the last time the city paid for it. This next bill will be $145 for 1 year, and you've got no additional benefits. They have tripled and more than tripled their pricing. I did find another one out there that's about $20 a month. And if you split it, since you're going to be serving two entities, the EDC and the city, you split the cost, you know, down the middle, because this is all transparency side anyway, basically. You can get out cheaper than what you would with Weebly with their new bill, with their new pricing that way. And that's what I recommend doing, is going with this where you have full access to the entire server.
Who is that?
So everything you want. Weebly charges you $45 more for email. The server, you got all your email you want within the price.
Who are you looking at?
Huh?
Which server are you looking at?
It's called Inner Servers.
Inner Server?
They're originally was out of New Jersey, but they're all over the U.S. now, in different locations. And I've been using them for a few years, and I've never had any major problem with them except for occasional snow outage or something like that. Sandy put them out for a couple hours one time.
So, would it make any difference? I mean, were you gonna have any problems changing information over from the Weebly to bring it over to the other? Or
Well,
does that have to just be re-entered, or?
not any more problems than you have with anything else, because you got to get off of there anyway, no matter how many problems you got, because you cannot build a database website there, which is what you want. Which whatever government website works on is all your details are in the database. They don't sit there and store it page by page by page like that Weebly thing's doing. That's why you never could get a decent looking background and stuff. You had to use what they offered. You had no other choice.
Are you still looking at the Berryville side as kind of a guideline?
Bullard.
Well, I didn't look at the Bullard. Yeah, basically the Bullard.
Not
Not for the look, but for where to put things and how to put things. That's where we stand. We're gonna have to change servers probably this
Idea of what
month.
was coming, they could look at that and get a.
Huh?
If somebody wanted to have an idea of what you're building, they could look at the Bullard and have an idea of what was coming for Coffee City.
Except, well, in style, but not in looks.
Yeah. But for the information and the stuff that's there.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you need from us to get this website up and running?
Probably need to authorize the secretary to approve using the charge card to set this thing up and get it rolling. You can either pay it by the month or by the year.
And how much again a year are we talking?
It'll be about $200 a year, or I think it's 20 a month, about 20 a month. 16 a month, something like that.
EDC's been paying that, so.
Pay the whole thing, so.
Yeah.
We have money.
And we can put that under
we just need to-
computer expense,
Okay.
advertising,
We just
whatever,
need to
so.
approve him to make a change to a new server from Weebly.
I'd like
Probably
to
just-
make a motion that we authorize him to do what is necessary
Yeah,
to get our.
they use
website.
everything by credit card, so they'll have to get the secretary to use the credit card to get it opened up.
That's fine.
And I'll get it all set up and call them, tell them to sign on, and I suggest you keep all the main password for that server in the mayor's office, and the secretary's office, and in the police office, and in the court office, so it can't get lost.
Yeah,
'Cause-
once you do, you're done.
Did I have a second to that motion?
Go ahead, Phil.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you can go ahead and make those changes and get it set up. Okay, item 17. Consider an act upon 2 stalker radar units from DPS for $700. We have 2 radar units that are not real reliable, and these stalkers are very reliable. That's what DPS uses. These came out of cars that they replaced, They put all brand new equipment, when they buy a car, they put all new, brand new equipment in it. They take the old equipment out and they sell it to municipalities and other police departments. So that price is an exceptionally good price for those type of units.
Are you saying the money for this comes from the Camaro sale that we had the money stored back for this type of stuff?
What's the installation cost, do you know? Because if you're getting these GPS things.
Who's gonna install those two units?
ETMC.
Do you know about how much they charge to install them?
No, I don't exactly know, how much it will
this much.
cost.
Basically 700.
It'd be under 700, for one.
I'm just getting, oh,
Yeah,
really, for one?
I'm just guessing, but $300 or $400, and that's just a guess.
That's the install?
Yeah, and like I say, that could be way down, because I know I had one installed on this, one car, and it was like a little over $200, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look on the invoice, but I think it was like a little over $200.
When they install them, they reprogram them and get them all.
Yes, and see, the stalker, he can reprogram it, exactly like it needs to be, because he had to do the one in my car. And it works perfectly.
What's the longevity of a radar?
Well,
system?
this radar that that I have in my car now, we've had it since, I know for a fact, 2006. Because when I came to work here, Ray had it in his car, and it worked fine, and this is the same unit he had, so and this, like I say, this is one DPS uses, this is the one that, you know, if something did go wrong with it, you know, something maybe simple that I couldn't figure it out, I can just put it into the DPS officer, and he can, you know, without taking it into a shop. Now, if something goes wrong with it, like the antenna or something like that, yeah, we'd have to take it to the shop. But if it's something, you know, inside the unit that they can program on the computer, well, a DPS officer can do that too.
Or are we gonna replace
No,
the
we're
ones?
gonna replace it too.
What are you gonna do with your old units if we replace these?
I would like to sell them if I could. I don't know if I can sell them, but I'd like to try.
Yeah, there's a little bit of legality on selling police equipment.
To another police
Well, they'd
department.
have to go to another police department.
Right. Are the units that you're taking out, do we have the same brand in every car?
No. In two vehicles, we have Decatur. We have Decatur radar and also Decatur cameras. In my car, we have Stalker. And Stalker is the best out there, because otherwise DPS would be using something else. But what's in my car is the unit that DPS uses.
And how did we decide that this money was gonna come from is this from the Camaro sale?
Yeah.
That's where this
How
money's
much
coming
money is
from?
left in that?
About 6,000.
About 6,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a breakdown of how that money's been spent, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, we have it. We have it right
We
now.
have it.
Okay.
It's, there's a vehicle book and it's all in there.
Okay.
Well,
It's really very interesting, because if we have functioning radars now, it sounds like a good deal. But if we have three operational police cars, and we have, say, $6,000 left, and we've had expenses coming in for the police cars, for whatever it is, I don't actually have a breakdown of actually how the money was spent. But if we're riding the fence and we have operational, I like the equipment, and it sounds like a good deal, but keeping the cars operational might become a priority, because if you got $6,000 and tires cost this much, and whatever goes wrong,
He's gonna have to get tires for two of the vehicles now.
well, see, there you go.
That's about
This sounds, I'm a big fan of stuff like this, but it might be a good thing to save the money, so we could keep the mechanical nature of the cars up, unless we have unfunctioning radars right now.
How many cars we got on the road at any one time?
On the weekends, we'll have anywhere from 1 to 2. During the week, it's usually 1, and that's my car.
And how many operational radars do you have now?
3.
What,
But the Decatur radars are not as reliable as the Stalker radars. And since we could get such a good deal on these two here, that's why we brought it up.
what are they new, just out of curiosity?
Do what?
What does one of these cost new?
They cost, And like I say, I'm throwing it out there from what I've seen before, but around $4,000 to $5,000.
I can speak from personal experience, and I'm a victim of the good bargain thing. I got a warehouse full of stuff, and you wouldn't believe how cheap I got this.
Yeah.
Well, how long you had it done? Well, but it was so cheap. And the thing is, there's bargains available all the time. You'd really be surprised if you did shopping, if you had a need for, and you can fill in the blank, anything that you might need. If you actually went out and shopped for it, oh, God, there it is. So stockpiling, if we need it, that's one thing. But if we need it, I think the operational cars is a priority. Tires and engine things, starters, alternators, operational.
What about if they purchase the radars and have them, and then once the units go down, then we can replace them?
See, that's just stockpiling for no reason at all. That's how you're looking at
Right.
Mr. Stupid right here. You know how much? Well, I'm gonna buy myself some Window 98s. Well, how much you get done? Oh, I got, and how much? Nothing. I had to throw them away. Well, what about it? Oh, the trash.
Now, you said it was 300 total for installation for both units, or per unit?
If my memory serves me right, I would have to look at the invoice, but I
that's
knew
something
that I
we
looked
need
at
to
it,
know.
and I couldn't believe it was so cheap, so that's what I really
The
remember.
bargain nature of it is really that's the hook. And like I said, I speak from my great stupidity. It's a great bargain, get it done.
But what the $6,000, what that $13,000 was supposed to be originally used for is basically upgrades. The city was taking on the maintenance of the car, regular everyday maintenance, you know, oil changes, windshield wipers, tires, and things like that. And if something goes wrong with the motor, that's the city, but it's like for upgrades and getting these cars back to where they need to be. That was the $13,000 that we originally. So we got $6,000 left, and like I say, that's what that money's actually for. In other words, if I need an oil change, which I do now, the city takes that on, and I need tires for 2 vehicles, and the city takes that on.
We get a set of tires for.
Well,
But we can get a set of tires for the whole car, $100 a piece. Now, I don't know if that's for the pickup or not, but for the 2 cars out there, they're $100 a piece, because we get a government discount for this place out of Arlington. And they do deliver the tires to us, so that even includes that. They drive all the way from Arlington, drop off however many tires I need, and we just pay for the tires.
Now, Chief, how new are these two units, since they were replaced from DPS vehicles?
A lot of times these units, like I say, they come out of they
not
use them
know?
for a year, because DPS usually gets a new car every year. Now, is that all officers? I don't know, I can't go by every county, but usually around here, they get a new car every year. So
they're regular as a clock, you know, when you're buying the police equipment, and I'm not an expert on the subject, like, there's a lot of things in life, but I bet you this stuff becomes up real regular. And putting them on, if they're gonna put them in instantly, that's one issue, but putting them on the shelf is a bad idea. A bad idea. So as far as the $6,000.
Yeah, if you do anything, if they're more reliable, you install and put the other 2 on the shelf for us.
No, you throw them away. Electronic stuff is just trash.
I gotta read our it's for his old
We can
roof.
ask him
The
to
provider.
buy one starter unit to replace the Decatur, instead of paying money to fix the old Decatur.
It depends.
Why do we buy 2? Why not buy 1?
My old roof.
We have 2 vehicles that have those Decaturs. and-
Well, it's the old hook thing, you know, like I said, I'm very shameful about my expenditures on things, and they're always available. We think, oh, this is a one-time deal. Sucker. They're always available, especially since you just said every year that they're updating the cars. So I think when the need comes arise, and we address the issue, and then if you spend the time to research it, you're gonna be real surprised that they're gonna be available. It's like military surplus.
Especially the chief just says.
Well,
they replace the car about
we have
every
we have the contacts now. We
That's
know,
right.
we know who to get in touch
I
with.
just think you're saying 6,000.
Fine when they're
We're
needed.
gonna be like this with the cars. I think
Well, if I got $6,000 and we're $5,000 over on police equipment a year,
Yeah.
Buy them when they're needed, don't dangle that fish on a hook, they're unbelievably cheap. That's where I like to.
Have a motion to table that item.
Pam was gonna look to see what she could.
Well, all I found was, back in March of 2013, we had some work done on the 2009 Dodge Charger, Decatur Electronics antenna. I wrote down antenna and power cables. It was $670. And I asked the chief, we're thinking that's just repairs, probably
Yeah,
not
it had to be
installation.
some kind of repair because the Decatur has never, the two vehicles that have Decatur, the units had never came out of the car. In other words, I didn't have to go back in and pay somebody to put them all back in, except for we had so much problems with the car, and I believe it was the camera system. And it's Decatur also, in the truck and the car, both of them are Decaturs.
Well, I would make a motion that we table this till we get all the financial data that's involved as far as installation and.
Second that.
Okay, have a motion and a second to table that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item 18, consider an act upon interlocal agreement with Henderson County. I think you had those in there. Pilot motion, that's just something we have to do every 3 years?
I'd like to make that motion,
So
that
go
we
ahead.
accept this interlocal agreement with Mr. King
I'll second
Buseland.
that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, good. I'll get those signed for you. You need them tonight.
Save me a trip.
Since you've already made two. Sorry about that.
Okay. I spent more time at the other city longer over there. You know, the one.
We don't
south.
pound on you too hard, do we?
No, not too.
I did see that they got their grant.
They don't have the money yet.
Yeah, that's a while yet.
Yeah.
Anything they can do for Jeb Surley.
Okay, well, that was one of the pounding, yeah.
I've got a friend that lives on that, and I swear I've lost a set of shocks on that street.
It's pretty bad.
Two.
If you give me the third one as well,
Oh, get the signature.
I'll have the judge's signature and stamp.
Okay,
Very good.
and he'll date it too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It will go through court on the date that it was in the document.
Okay, you need this.
Because it corresponds with the existing agreement. When it runs out, this one will be in effect.
You want to go ahead and give him copies for that?
You like running that paper?
Right. I don't think we have to run, that's just an ordinance to be in it, so it doesn't have to, oh, it's not like the others. Okay. Mayor's report. I've already stated what I was going to say in the mayor's report about the chili dinner and about that driveway scam that's going on, so we'll skip to EDC report. You have that, Shalene?
I do. The South Side account, we started with $142,041. We had a sales tax deposit for $5,768. The only disbursement we had was for $814 to the City of Coffee City for secretarial services. Excuse me. We had an ending balance in the general account of $146,995. And in the Austin Bank, which is the hotel account, we had a total deposit made for the month of $904. That gave us an ending balance of $42,415. And Bruce made some notes. He went ahead and filed the 2013 comptroller. There are 3 tax forms that have to be filed for the year.
He did the Texas franchise tax, the no tax due report, and the annual economic development report. And just a side note on that, anybody can look on the state website for that report. It's already there, it'll show you. And it's texasahead.org, I believe. And it'll pull up, just put in Coffee City for 2013, and that report will be on there.
When do we expect to start on the community service kitchen? Yeah.
Bruce Herbert and Ron Jeffries went down to, I think, Lowe's to talk to them about doing some drafting work so we could put it out for bids. It's been very successful. Ron Jeffries, and if I want me to do a report, I'm ready to go. It's been real neat. We've really studied very hard on the community center in order to provide an effective kitchen and pantry area. We've all put our heads together as far as how it should be laid out so we get our maximum bang for the buck. And we've come up with a great thing where we got an 8-foot bar. We have an outside area that's going to have a little coffee and tea area. On the inside, we've relocated the doors. We're going to put the kitchen and, the stove and the refrigerator toward the exterior wall of the unit. On the pantry, we're going to locate the drainage for a possible ice machine in the future. We were kind of hamstrung because the concrete has been scored, and we have to locate the sinks in a particular position. We've come up on the standardization that we have to have our 3-position stainless steel sink. We're going to have it with a splash guard on the back. We're going to have it open underneath so we do not have any cabinets so we can see for any future damage that's on the thing. We're going to have an exterior sink. It's going to be for hand washing. Even though this is not a commercial operation, I think for safety and for sanitary sake, we have to have a hot water sink so that we can't have people washing their hands and doing dishes at the same time. So they're going to be located right next to each other. We're going to have counters on the inside. We're not going to have top cabinets because we think that's wasted money. We're going to have lower cabinets only. We're going to maximize the staging area for people to come in. We're going to have countertops so that way people can stage all of their area.
When do we actually expect to start doing the work?
Bruce had told me that he wanted to get this done in the first quarter is what Bruce was telling me. Now, I think that that's probably still true. Now, when the first quarter end is that's a good question. I can't answer that, but I can talk to you blue in the face about what we're planning to do.
First quarter to me would be the end of March.
First quarter of the year of our business.
Well, that's what Bruce had quoted me when we first initially started on this project. But we've had some delays. Bruce and myself did not make the progress we wanted on agreeing on the plans because it may sound simple, but from what the community center was laid out and what they had proposed for us to do and what we'll actually get, we're going to get twice as much bang for the buck on what we're doing. We're really doing a superior job, in my opinion. On what they had before was not going to be effective. It was not going to be good for people to rent the unit. What we're trying to do is maximize the dollars, so it'll be a good rental unit. People will come in. It will have maximum amount of unit space. The pantry room, we're going to do open wire shelves in the pantry room. A lot of the space is going to be open. We think we need the open space for the, we have a lot of the Texas, the Red Cross people. They've stored stuff in our bathrooms over there, and it's a mess. Yeah. We need to move that stuff to the pantry area so it's out of the way. It's not a trip hazard, and that way we can utilize the men's and women's bathrooms and showers effectively. And with that, I'm going to be quiet.
I think Don's done his homework.
Sorry, I asked.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
you promised us that you won't try to fry us if we use that community center.
Well, Betty didn't have the air conditioning. We had a funeral thing. No, that was, I don't know how that ever happened, but that was terrible.
It's all been fixed anyway.
The heater worked.
I'm sorry.
The heater worked.
Yeah. The heater worked.
And speaking of which, we're not going to put any ceiling in the building, so we're going to have walls, and so that way we'll use the existing ducting to cool the pantry and the kitchen area, because that'll be a cost savings. It was once proposed that they were going to put a ceiling in the entire building, but that would run about 30 grand by the time we took the ceiling and duct, and it's just wasted money. And so we're going to use it. I'll stop talking.
He believes me because he was there.
Yeah, it was terrible, Betty. It was terrible.
Okay, let's go to item 22, municipal court report.
Okay, for the month of January, we had 119 new cases filed. We had 11 that were dismissed after driver safety course, 4 after deferred disposition. We had 6 after proof of financial responsibility. We disposed of 51 cases total. We brought in a total of 8559. 520 of that was from Pioneer through their collection efforts. The city gets to keep about 4491. And I just have to add the warrant roundup, the letters are going out. They went out last Friday. And we've already collected in February 2,800, over 28 from just from Pioneer. So I expect that will increase in the next few weeks.
How many cases do you have pending for court?
I have 13 cases.
When do you anticipate having court?
We're looking at probably late April, early May.
This will be the first court session that we've had since the police department's been reorganized.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll do pre-trials first.
That speaks well for the police department, because with the previous regime, they were having court about once a month.
Yeah.
And they won't do court unless they have about 10 cases, and it's taken us
A year.
a year. Okay, police report.
This is gonna be for the month of January. Vehicle accidents, we had 2. Calls for service was 18. Burglaries were 3. Thefts were 2. Assaults were 2. And had 4 call-outs. This is for a total of 22.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fire report.
Thank you.
Sleep that in.
Yeah.
There.
Thank you.
Y'all still have y'all's copies from last week?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Yeah. If y'all want to pass it. Basically, January was a little busier than most, and we had 29 on the record calls, 1 building fire, 7 rubbish, 10 medicals, 3 trees, 2 boats. The 1 boat call was 10 degrees. There was 6 idiots on the water. The guy we went to get and us. I tried to talk Mr. Rutledge into taking them cold weather calls. Won't do it.
I was short of gas.
1 wreck, and 1 false alarm, 1 public service. Public service was unlocking a car, but at, and the good intent call was supposed to have been a wreck. It was supposed to be a bad wreck, but it ended up being in Malakoff. They sent us out and they just got mixed up, that's all. It happens. Not very often. Of course, we're still training, currently we're training. Some of the noise y'all heard a minute ago was they're working on lifts and trapments and airbags and cribbing. Y'all saw the big extrication deal we had going. This time